So as I said before, the first major rains this year have fallen in Kyiv in the last day or so, um, and that brings me to the topic of the winter campaign. Um, Last time there was a ground campaign by the Russians over the winter. It was not very successful. Like thousands upon thousands of Russian soldiers and Ukrainians died. Um, to take kilometers that probably are being retaken by the Ukrainians now. But I mean, they didn't take Bakhmut until the spring, so really the winter offensive was kind of a failure. I mean, it depends how you look at it. But anyway, I mean that conflict in the east was coupled with large scale missile strikes across Ukrainian cities. Targeting civilian infrastructure, hospitals, but especially the energy grid. That's the big that's the big target. That's the Russian general Surovikin. That's like his strategy. I think, I mean, obviously it's against international law to target civilian infrastructure and energy and stuff like that. But I think from a Russian perspective, it totally makes sense. Honestly, I'm always shocked when I see them bombing hospitals and stuff like that when they could be bombing power plants and the big one is railroads. The railroads are pretty much untouched in a lot of these places, and that just blows my mind because all the missiles that they waste targeting schools and shit. If they just poured an ounce of that into targeting the infrastructure, I feel like the war would be going better for them. But it just goes back to that, like, I don't know, their war strategy is so I don't know how to explain it. Just so viscerally petty, but it comes back to haunt them, in my opinion. But anyway, what I really wanted to talk about in this video was the fact that it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that the Russians will begin another missile campaign as the weather turns cold. I mean, I can't say when exactly because obviously it depends how the weather goes. But I mean, probably by December we're going to be getting a lot more air raid sirens and a lot more missile strikes in Kyiv and Lviv and the major cities, targeting civilian infrastructure and especially the energy grid. I mean, obviously, there's still, I mean, even to this day, they still have their invincibility points set up. Those are like points with generators and like the ability to have internet and electricity that people can come to and to get warm. That's the other thing. That's the other purpose. And they give out food there. So that'll be those will get set up as the winter approaches more thoroughly. But it's not here yet. That'll be in like a month or so. I would assume. But for now, I mean, it hasn't even rained enough to get the ground fully muddy. So I mean, the offensive is still ongoing, and the winter campaign is a little ways away. But it's important to think about that, and we'll see. I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll be getting some good footage of some bombs falling or something. But hopefully nothing too bad.